Well, I'm going to close things out. I'm sticking in the 2000s. All my movies this week are in the 2000s, but that's okay. I really like this one. I chose Big Fan from 2009. Quick back of the box. Paul Offiero, a 35-year-old parking garage attendant from Staten Island, is the self-described world's biggest New York Giants fan. One night, Paul and his best friend Sal spot Giants star linebacker Quantrell Bishop at a gas station and decide to follow him. At a strip club, Paul cautiously decides to approach him, but the chance encounter brings Paul's world crashing down around him. So Big Fan was written and directed by Robert Siegel. He wrote the Pam and Tommy series, which recently aired on Hulu. Oh, okay. He also wrote The Wrestler a year before Big Fan. Hasn't directed much, only this and a movie called Cruise, but he definitely knows how to tell a good story. Back of the Box does a really good job of summing this one up. Paul is definitely a bit of a loser. Works at the parking garage, lives with his mom, spends his free time like transcribing monologues that he delivers over the air on a late night sports talk radio show. What I think the Back of the Box doesn't capture is how great Patton Oswalt is in this role of an obsessed fan.
Yeah, it's a really compelling performance, I think.
Oh, it's huge. I've prior to this, his biggest role was the voice he performed for Ratatouille. He had done that 2 years before. It felt like Big Fan was not only his first starring role in a more dramatic part, but his attempt at establishing himself as more than just a comedic actor. It's surprising to me that this film didn't land him more serious parts because, he's really tremendous. It's his movie.
Well, he's not a sports fan, I don't think.
I don't think so.
But I think also maybe the role didn't seem like it was a giant stretch for him. Do you see what I did there?
Oh, nice.
Anyway, but no, I think it maybe especially before, like, he was less of a public persona back then, and so I think maybe it didn't seem like it was as much acting as it was.
Right.
But it's a really real, authentic, and heartfelt performance.
It is, and it's helped by the fact that I think the supporting cast does a fucking terrific job. Kevin Corrigan is in this. He plays almost the same part that he did as Leonardo DiCaprio's cousin in The Departed.
Yeah.
But Michael Rappaport is here. He plays the part of Philadelphia Phil, another obsessed sports fan from rival turf. He's great. Rest of the cast is more or less needs to come across like native Staten Islanders, and they do.
Yeah.
Why did I choose this? Big Fan does a great job of exploring the dangers of becoming too deeply obsessed with fandom. And I think that's a pretty fascinating concept. A lot of this movie deals in Patton Oswalt's character wrestling with whether or not he should press charges against Quantrell Bishop, or do I let the guy, do I drop the case and let him play so that the team does better? Which I honestly think his character's been driven to psychosis by his sports fandom. 100%. Yeah.
Like, he's no longer able to interface with the world in a way that it reflects reality.
Yeah. So this is a pretty intimate film, small story with only a few characters, but
it's also pretty short, if I remember.
It is pretty short. It's short. It's lovingly told. I think that what I really loved is that the director really appreciates the idiosyncrasies associated with being not only just a sports fan, but an obsessed football fan. This is going to sound like a silly analogy, but I always cringe when I see actors playing video games in movies who've never held a controller and a director who doesn't know what it looks like when people play video. You can immediately spot it when it's not authentic. And I think, weirdly, the same is true when it comes to sports fandom and the weird things that people do when they love a team and are rooting maniacally for their team to win. And
or even the idiosyncrasies of sports talk radio, for instance.
Exactly. It's a really unique culture.
Yeah.
And somehow this movie captures it very authentically, and
I mean, it's an illustration of the danger of those.
Yes,
committing yourself too deeply to like a subculture or a community or whatever.
Yep. I'm throwing it on the shelf. I think Patton Oswalt does a great job, and it's a really interesting dive into sports fandom that you don't often see.
It's a little unsettling.
It is.
But I think that's the point, and that's kind of why I like it, because, I used to be a sports fan.
Right.
A lot more than I am now. You notice the toxicity that's involved, and even, it's, again, like Patton Oswalt's character is kind of like driven himself into this madness.
Oh, yeah.
Partially because he has nothing else going on in his life, but also just because it's kind of like a self-perpetuating thing when you're listening to the radio and then you're thinking about this and that's all you can fucking think about, and then all of a sudden it becomes so important
and personal.
Yeah.